Did that work? Hello, Hot Blonde Catacomb Keeper. Just figuring out some technical difficulties with my microphone. Hope you're having a good evening. Did that work? Yes, there we go. Hello. Took me a minute of technical difficulties, but we got there. Hopefully that's not too loud. Please let me know if it is. Hello, 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 and welcome back to another stream of Boomeadow builds. It is wonderful to have you all here. Let me know if anything is too loud, the music, my microphone, anything like that. As per usual, it is always wonderful to have you here. So, how are you today? On this lovely Saturday in Australia. So, it is starting to get nice and warm, kind of. It is trying anyway. And we are working on some custom maps for the Boomeadow build State of Anarchy game. We have been working through the different maps of the world. So we have Feyawir, which is the Feywild of this world. Yes, we have been working on Nethraeg, which is part of the 9 hells, basically. Just making sure that all of these things are working the way that they should now. Yes, good. Hopefully, yes, there we go. So it is wonderful to have you all here. So as you can see, we have been working on the hells over the last few sessions. And this is, and I know that I've referred to each of these circles by name at this point. But now you actually get to see the names. So, however, some of these I may have to change just a touch so that you can actually read them. So, yes. So, as you can see, we have Purgatory, Lisner, or the Circle of Lust, Nimbus, the Circle of Gluttony, Girahakshasa, it would be helpful if I get that right, Girihaksha, Greed, Dicter, Wrath, Junpilka, Sloth, Gizimog, Envy, Kalavamas, Pride, and in the center here we have Verot, which is treachery. There are all of these little dots everywhere, which denote that they are where we are going to put towns. So yeah, we'll just jump right in. Feel free to say hi, have a bit of a chat, ask questions, all of that stuff. It is all welcome. This game will be, I will be streaming this game actually here on my channel come February next year. So I do actually have a Roll20 application open for players if that is something that interests you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. So yeah. I hope you've had a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. What have all y'all's week looked like so far? Make it so that I can see all my notes, because I do have notes. Took me a little while to get on top of them, but we do indeed have notes for names, which of course are open to addition if anyone can think of some good names. So we did finish, I say we, I always use we colloquially, but I did finish playing Lost Words this week on Thursday. Beyond the Page, beautiful game. Most of the game, pretty much, well, all of the games I stream on here are Xbox games. So if that's something that you'd like to watch, yeah, come on over, say hi. I love it when you guys do that. That's better. We can see that a bit better now. This was an effect that I end up really enjoying here, making all of these mountains look like they are a bit more three-dimensional, because they are actually floating islands within the lore of the world. And I have been working on fantasy metaphysics to basically figure out what I'm doing with the main plot for the game as well. I've got a bit of an idea. And yes, it is going to involve some level of fantasy metaphysics. Now, the state of the world itself, this game will be set in the 4th era of this world that I've created, which this world will now be something like 60,000 years old. And so technologically, we've been through kind of like a technological dark age. We've seen a technological dark age. We've seen them basically not just a technological dark age. We literally saw them go back through the dark ages. We've seen, we have seen them conduct a game of Zorvental. My Tuesday group, which I did talk about on Wednesday night, has recently, in the last game of the year, they have been sent 5 years in the past. And so now my players have basically 2 months to decide what they're going to do next, because there is a world of possibilities open to them. I do try to keep my I do try to keep the games, at least within the timeline, far enough apart that the games can't affect each other in terms of the decisions of the players who are in the past of the game. While they can change things and change the law, certain parts of the law, there is a lot of area where it is story and hearsay, and because that much time has passed for the people of the world, that it has become myth within its own world. How do you guys world build? Like, what are you... Where do you like to start your world building? Because mine does usually start with just this, building a map and putting names of towns on places, even if I don't really know what... even if I don't know what I'm going to do with the town or the world. So yes, I've been doing lots of research behind what would be the fundamental forces of this universe, how the world would interact with that. The question I have started to actually, because of this, I have started to look into the different factions in terms of so the person who is behind this fundamental, because this is all fundamental world law stuff, like if the players don't research this or ask into these questions, they obviously won't, like, it is stuff based around what this fantasy philosopher in my world has created. So there is a fantasy philosopher from the first era of this world by the name of Theri Tarsatha Chowie. And he has created what is known now as the Therian principle. Kind of like the Hermetic principles and things like this. But he has created the Therian principle of metaphysical belief, basically. And he theorizes that the entities that tout themselves are gods are not true gods. They are no more immortal than any other individual in the state of the universe, because they still have some requirement to exist.
I'm still hungry.
So yes, he stated that the entities that call themselves and tout themselves as gods are not true gods because there are requirements to sustain their divinity, i.e., belief. Having mortals believe in them is something that heavily fuels the fact that they are only deities as long as people believe in them. Whereas he questions and theorizes that true divinity and true celestial power requires nothing, nor does it require a certain morality to wield. So for him, his opinion is those entities which are true gods per se, they are truly impartial. They do not care about good or evil. They only have a certain set of rules as to deem who is worthy to wield their power and therefore become avatars for their power. And for this, the worthiness heavily depends on the metaphysical principle that is at play. For example, creationism, or the power of creation, the essence of creation, again, does not require good or evil to wield, but all it requires is true imagination. You cannot wield creation without an imagination. But it also comes with the subsect of there is the subsect of this, though, that true creation cannot destroy something to exist, because that is not creation. Not only that, it also doesn't control its creations. It is purely bringing things into existence, life itself. And so therefore, the only thing limiting you from wielding creation is your imagination. And so this fantasy philosopher had decided or theorized that because these entities are more of an impartial force, he theorized that if one could, there is a possibility that it could manifest it into a scroll of power or an artifact of power so that anyone could wield it, which of course made him a heretic within the church. They did not like this because they obviously had a very, very strong opinion that obviously the church and also arcane studies basically encouraged mortal people to continue to study, and it is only through study or devotion in which you could attain power. Which, of course, if Basachawi's principle was right, anybody, it didn't matter how much training they had, as long as they were worthy of these arbitrary fixations, anyone could wield this power providing they had the artifact. So, of course, this made his work incredibly unpopular. So, yeah, that's what I've been doing this week. What about you guys? How do you figure out your world building? Clearly I put a lot of deep thought into mine. Yes. So clearly I put a lot of thought into it and building that for my world. So, yeah. But yeah, so it has meant that I've had to look into what these 9 elemental principles are. Well, I say elemental principles, it's more metaphysical principles, because one of the metaphysical principles is elements. Is elemental. So I have come up, 9 seems to be a recurring number within my world. So I kind of went with that. And from that I've also created an ancient version of the language. And figuring out a alphabet form of how it would be written in ancient Avanian, as it is known. And the 9 principles that I've kind of landed upon, which work within, which seem to be common threads within my world, creation, destruction, reality, memory, elemental, ethereal, chaos, order, and balance. And a big part of where this campaign is going and where the world is going is over the 4 eras that the world has existed and the universe has existed, or at least the 4 eras in which the game is written, to their knowledge, the world has skewed so far in the direction of chaos that the universe is seeking to right itself, and in doing so has the risk of implosion. And so there is this point in which the player characters are essentially going to be able to find these artifacts of metaphysical principle to essentially correct the universe. For anyone who doesn't know about the way that I run my games and things like this, I don't put a heavy belief on alignment, because I believe good people can do bad things and bad people can do good things, and so therefore a lot of my stories do have a lot of grey line morality. And obviously a big part of this is the fact that worthiness is not dictated by good or evil. My player characters, I turn around and say they do not have to be a hero if they do not wish to be. However, to make the party work, because it is a collaborative game, they do at least have to have a unified goal that they are aiming for. So yeah. So the question is, what do you guys kind of think of when you work on your world lore? Where do you kind of start? Hi Spinner, how are you? It's always wonderful to have you here. Whether you are late or not, it doesn't matter. The fact that you are here is always wonderful. We have just been talking about the way I world build and what I've been working on this week in terms of the fact that I have been working on deep world lore and creating basically fantasy quantum mechanics. Yeah, no, I had a flu for about 2 weeks, so I do know that the colds are going around, especially with our weather going up and down and all over the place. So I do not blame you if you believe you had a bit of a cold. Yeah, it's definitely not in a linear pattern. I will say that. Especially when I know, I don't really plan in a linear pattern. And, I mean, well, you've been here long enough to see me map build that I'm literally starting with the world maps. Which, am I going to need a map of the hell straight away? Nope. But I enjoy doing it, so if you're not creating what you're enjoying to do, yeah, exactly. It's fun. And I mean, do we need to know how quantum mechanics works in my universe? My players probably don't, but it certainly helps me figure out what I'm doing with the story. So we are just naming some towns in the Circle of Lesnair, or the Circle of Lust. And who knows? With enough work, we might actually get this map finished tonight. Well, this quarter of the map finished tonight. Summons Evil One. Hey, if you could summon Evil One, we'll see how you go. I make no promises. I don't even know what he's doing this evening. I was a little late because I got back from a family engagement that I had on. And on the way home, we may have stopped to just capture some Pokemon on Pokemon Go, because I still play that. So oh, good. I had taken a bit of a break from it, so I'm not as high level as I could be, but I'm having fun with it. Now that the weather's warming up, we're starting to see some more different Pokemon out there. So lots of fire type Pokemon, obviously, because obviously it's turning into summer. Well, it is summer. Technically it's December, so. Oh god. I got a Charmeleon. I got Slugma and their evolution. I got Bunnelby. I got enough Bunnelby that I could evolve a Bunnelby. I got enough Eevees that I could evolve a Sylveon. Couple Yanma, a Wooper, couple of Lillipups. So yeah. Oh, also got a Spritzy too. Yeah, that must be the weirdest thing to hear. I know that can be a weird thing to hear for people, because I mean, we're all gearing up for summer, and for December, and like Christmas in summer is just a thing we've always had. So yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, Osmosis Jones. Hemispheres are a thing, yeah. I think today was in the high. So obviously, for those who don't know, Australia uses Celsius. So I think it was high 30s today, which for some years is a little cooler. Yeah, for some years it's a little cooler. In some areas of Australia, in the livable parts of Australia, it can get up to like 50 degrees Celsius in the middle of January. Definitely hot enough to melt your flip-flops or thongs, depending where you are, to the asphalt. Which, again, do not recommend, but it happens. Yeah, no, a sunstroke does happen a lot, but we actually have quite good air conditioning as well, so we have kind of had to produce better air conditioning to allow for that. So we do get sunstroke a lot. We do get a lot of sunburn as well, which is why we actually have quite a high rate of skin cancer in Australia that has led to a lot of has led to the government and medical boards really pushing a lot of sun sense initiatives, basically. Cannot forget the 50 SPF, 50 plus 50 SPF on our sunscreen and things like that. It's all right. My brain was thinking it took me a second to remember it's SPF because I almost said PDF, which would have been hilarious, but at the same time, incorrect. You have probably noticed, Spinner, that I have been subtly placing the towns and cities of Bob all around the map, as requested by Evil One, because of course. Yeah, I love putting... Hey, at some point in the future, Osmosis Jones, that is entirely possible if the Matrix is anything to go by. You want a tan? Just program the nanobots inside you to darken your skin. This is true. I do wonder why you would do that, but it is true, I suppose. Yes, Bob Towns. Well, I did promise, and we do like to keep our word. Well, this won't do. Town band Trixie. Naming a province, yeah. Because while I'll have the Circles of Hell, I am still thinking of breaking it up into relative areas. I was thinking, because of the way that the Hells are designed, being a very much a capitalist kind of system and office business-like system, the areas are going to be like business districts. So that is going to be possible for you to name those. I did also... I feel like it was kind of lost a bit on Wednesday because I was having a lot of technical difficulties. God, can't speak. Technical difficulties staying connected to the internet, which is always wonderful. But I have actually opened up for the applications for players for this game over on Roll20. You can easily find my game. It's under the Dungeons and Dragons game set. It is, of course, free to play. I am not charging. I have never charged my players to play my games. And obviously, I go by Boomeadow over there as well. And the game is a state of anarchy. So hopefully, it should be relatively, well, within reason, relatively easy to find if you are intrigued at making an application. There are some questions on there, and just like a brief description and kind of what I'm kind of looking for and the kind of just basic rules that I work by. But if you've been around here for a while and you've listened to the way that I DM, or at least some of the ways that I like ruling things and stuff like this, it shouldn't be too surprising, some of the stuff that I have on there as opinions about how I run my games and what is expected of my players. Is there a link for those lazy folk? Let me see if I can find one. I make no promises. I will see if I can find one while I save. Thank you for the follow. It is wonderful having you here. Subatomic Surfer, hello. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm just seeing if I can get an application for people for this listing, and we'll see if we can get that up for you guys. It took me a minute as well, Osmosis Jones, to read that. Here we go. That should realistically come up as the listing, I believe. If you are at all interested. So hopefully that will take you to it. It is wonderful to have you here, Subatomic Surfer. I say we again, I like to use the colloquial we because we are a community. I map build and for my games, basically. See, that's cool. I approve. Yeah. I can appreciate that. Some of the best stories and D&D ideas come from dreams. Put in the town of Bob in the circle of greed. Yeah, no, I can turn around and explain. It's only going to be 5 to 6 players. It includes, when it says 8, it does include the DM. And I have also got a secondary account in there from which I will be streaming all of the dice rolls. So obviously it won't be streaming my DM side of things. So it's a surprise to everybody, and it's a bit like having a virtual DM screen. So it is only 5 to 6. So don't worry about that. It is not going to be 8 players. Definitely not. That is too chaotic for me, even me, to run. But yes, the way that Roll20 factors it is literally, yeah. No, 8 people is too chaotic for me. Plus, I also run relatively roleplay heavy campaigns insofar as I have players who really, really like to roleplay. So 8 players just nothing will ever happen because everyone will be talking about things all the time. So I still want it small enough that each player can have their own individual story that we can kind of discover, so we can, you know, but the group can also become close-knit. But yes, no, the group itself is only going to be 5 or 6. The level and class system. So I usually run milestone leveling. I don't run XP leveling, just because I feel that that ends up just rewarding a specific kind of play. In terms of class, this game that the way that I tend to run my games is there is a huge level of third-party stuff that we're going to be I will be allowing my players to look at, and all this kind of stuff. Yes, we need coffee. Yeah, so there's going to be a lot of stuff in terms of that, but I'm kind of going back to this opinion of rewarding creativity. So there is a possibility that players are going to be able to get items, or the atom system. That's kind of cool. And Spinner, my players are all over the alignment kind of chart. I've had lawful evil characters in a group, as I have said earlier, and I say all along over that, is the fact that I don't care if my players are good or evil, they just have to have a common goal. Skill trees, I actually play in a game over on Evil One's channel, and we are currently running a Star Wars game over there, and yeah, they've got the skill trees. So it is very interesting to see what people do with skill trees, especially as buildable skills as well. Because yeah, I think there should be more to reward the players for actual looking into things. And I did struggle a bit with feeling like I just drag my cat. I feel like I end up just dragging my players along, and they just kind of sit back and they're like, okay, well, I leveled, so. Oh, see, that's cool. And they can build, custom build. I don't think he's actually in the chat at the moment. Yeah, no, I certainly like the idea of building. It's part of the reason I kind of started looking into different subclasses within third-party books and things like this. That, and also an excuse for sponsoring so many of the Kickstarters that I have sponsored. You know, gotta have a reason, gotta have a hobby. Oh, no, that was deliberate. Yet another Bob. Oh, see, that's kind of cool. I do like that. That's an interesting concept. It certainly allows for a lot more creativity. It really depends. If you DM games for your favorite way to... Yeah, that's an interesting thing as well, like how the group comes together. It is a good question. I like it when you guys ask each other awesome questions. Because I'm intrigued too as to how you would bring the group together. Because, I mean, I don't always like to use the they meet in a tavern kind of thing. Although I do know that my Tuesday group did do that. They met in a bar fight. Glutire, yes, that's in Gluttony. But their main hello Oswombat as well. Yeah, I mean their main export could be squats. Who knows? Nope, all of these towns I've just realised are in the wrong place. Because I forgot when I wrote this list, I wrote it in the wrong order. So these... Oh, I love that. I didn't put... Okay, let's try this again, shall we? We want one here. One here. Here. The whole point with RP for me is it's collaborative storytelling. And a big part of that is the realization that to a certain degree, yes, you have to go Osmosis, there is nothing wrong with being shy and awkward as if you're still in high school. I'm 35 and I still feel sometimes, so I'm 35, I have kids, and yeah, parent drop off and things like this. I get nervous, man. I still feel like I'm an outsider sometimes, or, you know, when there's, for example, groups of mums and who's like our kids are, you know, making mum friends, let's be honest. But when our kids' friends make friends' mums kind of get together and make friends with each other, and I'm just like, I don't know what to say. I feel awkward. Why? Okay. Took me a second to be able to... Took me a second. Yeah, but you don't know how it's going to be taken. And that's okay to be nervous. The biggest point about D&D for me is you just need to have fun. You don't need to be able to do voices. You don't need to be able to, you know... Doing voices is not what makes you good at RP. What makes you good at RP is, or at least in my opinion, is being able to speak for your character, make character decisions, you know, and just enjoy it. Yeah. Cool mum scare me. Yeah. Because you're like, for me, it's a case of, I look at them and I'm like, it is 8:30 in the morning and you have a full face of makeup. Your hair is done neatly, but you're in like fancy athletic gear. And I'm like, meanwhile, I crawled out of bed like 5 minutes ago and I wear lounge attire, like track pants and t-shirts and stuff like that, that legitimately are like pajamas, but they look nice enough that they look like they're supposed to be outside clothes. And I see them and I'm like, yeah, gym attire. And I'm like, are you going to the gym straight after this or whatnot? But clearly not, because you have a full face of makeup, so I don't understand. Yeah, I don't get that. I don't, yeah, I don't understand that. And like, I'm fairly certain I look like the rat's nest that a raccoon pulled out of a dumpster some days. Not that anyone would ever say anything, because apparently as adults we just don't reference that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, I don't know what to say. And it is even DMing. It is like, I know that I'm on here obviously talking to a whole bunch of strangers, and anyone who plays with me and things like this know that I can talk like you would not believe. Obviously, that doesn't mean that I don't get anxious as hell running D&D games. I get nervous every single time we start a new D&D campaign, because what if it's terrible? You know, there have been, like, because I do character voices, but that's partially because doing D&D is kind of a way for me to practice voices and practice my accents and things like this, because for my day job I'm an audiobook narrator. Yeah, but there are some times where I'll try a voice and I have no idea what I did and it's terrible, and the group finds it hilarious, but I'm like, I have no idea what I did. So the biggest thing is, if you can walk away from a game, even a bad game, like, because we all have bad games where the dice hate us, or nothing goes our way, or we just mess up constantly. It's going to happen. As long as you can walk away from that game saying, I still had fun, even though, you know, like, I'm frustrated, angry for my character, that's a good game. As long as you can walk away saying you had a good time, that's all that matters. Yeah, just yeet the dice. I have done that before. Like, even though I play digitally, I do sometimes still use physical dice, just because, you know, I need a quick roll or something like this and I don't have a sheet set up for it or whatever. And yeah, I have full on yeeted a dice across the room because it betrayed me. Full on betrayed me constantly. And I'm like, you know, these bad guys were supposed to be cool. So, yeah. Basically, just have fun with it, is all I can say, really. So the question is, if you play online, do you have physical dice? Are you still a dice goblin? And what is your favourite set of dice that you own? The coolest set of dice I got was a set of pure metal Lovecraftian ones that were given to me by one of my players. And they are beautiful, they are heavy, but oh god, I would not want to step on the D4 in the dark because it is pointy and sharp. Hangover City. Yeah, I will say that some of the ways that I went about naming some of the towns and cities is just looking for different languages, words for greed, and associated kind of like words to do within that kind of subject, basically. So if you see a word that you recognize and I'm using it in a terrible context, please do let me know, because unfortunately I only speak English fluently. Why are you white? That's a question and a half. That's a bit better. I had to move this town just because it would have overlapped with the town, the city of Bob. Oh, is it? There you go. Well, that's nice. It must be a happy town then, especially if you live in the circle of greed, which it is possible for humans to live in the hells thanks to the state of the world. I did not know that. There you go. Yeah. The hells are also where the majority of my oh goodness, what are they called? Yeah, that's where the majority of my ASMR come from. The hells. Again, because story reasons. Give me 1 second, my cats are fighting. Yes, so the ASMR are from the hells in this particular setting, because by the fourth era of the world, so where the world has existed for 60,000 years, and in that time, due to alien interference, it led to the ASMR basically becoming the perfect hosts for an alien race. But it meant that to become the perfect host for the Dark Quarry, they had to essentially be a mixture of celestial blood, human blood, which of course is an ASMR, and to be tainted by demonic essence or have demonic blood as well. And they basically spent a good 50,000 years, roughly, give or take. They spent roughly 50,000 years essentially eugenically creating the perfect host in a situation that after the Demon Wars, in which the Hells lost, the wizards basically turned around and made every person who lived within this part of the world, the LUS, they would have to have a demonic familiar from birth. Kind of like Philip Pullman's His Dark Materials kind of thing, a familiar like that. With slightly different though, they're clearly not their soul. But it means that they had a demonic familiar from birth. So it meant that every Aasimar that was born in the LUS now has a demon familiar, so regardless of whether they have angelic blood, they've now been tainted by having a demon deal made for them at birth. And thus, this is how the Dark Quarry, who were basically working with the Titan King, who is the big bad of the campaign, essentially ended up running the technologically advanced, more civilized part of the world. And that was something that the players basically had to stop when they were going through the Necronomicon, and they found out this plot and had to basically destroy the government of the free world, essentially. And yes, I have a kitten and a 2-year-old cat. And the kitten's relatively new in the last few weeks. And so while they get along most of the time, the kitten doesn't really know when to stop playing. So the cat gets a bit grumpy with her. We're learning boundaries. But they decide that they want to do it directly under my computer desk. So I end up having to go and separate them just until they can calm down a bit. Mullygrubs, I think it might be. Anyone who cares to check up the etymology of that, though, they are welcome to. It is apparently an English-based word. Yeah, there you go. And it is an English-based word, or an alteration on an English word. But yeah, there you go. Which mullygrubs in this is, I believe, sloth. So, sulky. Yeah. That was the point, I think. Now, if I have learned anything about when I put these maps together later, I might want to move this down a bit lower, just so that we're not coming over here. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, makes about sense. We have a type of moth here. We just call them rain moths, and they're really large moths. And witchetty grubs are their larval stage of that. And it is a native Australian form of food. They're very big and fat, caterpillar-like. Okay, that's all the town stuff. Now we can add decoration. Just do the standard save. Thank you, Queen Zephyr and Tide Runner. Funnily enough, and Spinner can attest to this, I literally just saved. So, because heaven forbid you should be mad at me. But welcome. We've been talking about the etymology of mullygrubs, which is a town or city in the Hells. Save again, though. Oh, fine. We'll save again. Just in case. I had a Christmas party this afternoon, so I was given a box of roses, which in Australia, a box of roses is essentially a box of chocolates. With different fillings and whatnot. So now I'm going to have to slowly eat my way through those. What kind of standard gifts do you give in where you are? Or just one of your family traditions? What's something that you give just as a kind of easy gift around Christmas or the holidays? Booze, yeah. Unsurprising, very Australian. I think. No, that's all right, Subatomic Surfer. The point of the stream is not that you have to be here all the way through it. If you don't, if you have things to do, just like with the D&D games, life comes first. I'll be here. That's fine. Oh yeah, obviously. As I've said from the very start, one of my big key things with running D&D games is the fact that life comes first. honestly, if it is early for you and you honestly don't think that you're going to be able to make it, that is okay. Ah, thank you. That's very kind of you. Okay, I will endeavour to do my best to remember to call you Atom. We will see, because sometimes I can have a terrible memory with things like that, but I will do my best. For the record as well, the music I am playing right now is actually from the No Copyright Sounds 24/7 radio, which they produce some wonderful music for streamers, as long as you give them credit. Oh yeah, go for it. Go for it, because now we have Tide Runner here, and the one thing I can tell you about Tide Runner, apart from being a wonderful player, they love planning. They love building characters, and I can guarantee you, they may like the way that you build your character from a career up. Yes, Tide Runner, they don't do classes. They have created their own kind of mechanism for the class system. So instead of creating levels, yes. So starting at 0, say for example, you are a blacksmith. You start as a blacksmith. Yes. Sometimes it's hard to write all of that stuff down. I mean, I have a world anvil, but I haven't put it up anywhere to find on my channel or anything like that yet, because I am woeful at writing in a linear pattern. The fact that I sit down every week and do maps is what keeps it somewhat linear. I feel like wine or alcohol in general ends up being a pretty safe bet, I think, in most cases. That blazing bludgeon, by the way, Adam, I know a paladin in my party that would love to have a buff to a hammer. I think at the moment they're using a Morningstar. Venetta's using a Morningstar, aren't they, Zephyr? Hammerden. Yeah, I did manage to make poor Zephyr a little bit panic last session as they were trying to climb around a giant blue hole situation in the water. There was a cave. They did not want to fall in. The Hammerden. I usually have an alcohol maker, Barkle Slag Hammer. He is the, now what is he called? Basically he runs booze, but it's something, what he says he is essentially something hammered, like a blacksmith joke. Oh, jeez. Yeah, the Hammered Smith. That's what it was. Yes, he called himself the Hammered Smith. Can't believe it took me that long to remember. Yeah, brewers are always a good one. Thank you, Adam. That's the hydration station should be for all of you. If you have some kind of rehydrating beverage, have a drink, man. Or if it is cold where you are, use it to warm up. I mean, it has water in it, so I don't see why not. We'll ignore the fact that sugar, it depends on the type of Pepsi, but sugar does dehydrate you. But hey, it's still fluid in, which is important in Australia to keep. Oh, give me a second. Nightbot gets a bit excessive, Adam. Unfortunately. And I can see your deleted message, but yes, I would consider soup in a Hydro Flask as hydration. Yeah. Unfortunately, Nightbot, I can turn it down. I think I did increase my cap limit. But yeah, no, my Nightbot does get a bit slap happy. But I did increase the limit because enthusiasm is important. And if it blocks you or whatever, I'll attempt to counteract that block. There we go. Yeah. I mean, Nightbot is great, but it can also get just a bit, it's a bit keen. A class and a job. Interesting. Well, I can tell you, for those who do not know, Tide Runner is actually going to be in this game. And I believe that their plan at the moment is for an artificer. I say that with much trepidation because I'm terrible at remembering until, we get a bit closer. Alchemist Custom, yeah. There you go, Alchemist. Because yes, as I have stated, I will be using some third-party materials from a lot of Kickstarters that I've actually sponsored over the last few years. A map of my planes. I only have the 3 at the moment. A ghost handful and get anviling. Nice. I just have the 3, and a big part of the reason that I'm doing these 3 is because in the lore of the game, these 3 particular planes of existence were heavily affected by an event known as the Merge, when the previous heroes of the world stopped an entity known as the Titan King from essentially returning. He was an eldritch god, and he had basically orchestrated the Necronomicon to return to the plane of existence. And obviously his presence would have created great upheaval and turmoil. So they stopped him, but it did mean that the planes of existence, they were pulled into the same planar space, so they kind of are mirrored over each other. They are all technically on the material plane to a certain degree. So, but there is stuff going on within each of these, but this is why the party will be starting in the Feywild. See, that's cool. I can think of a very powerful, speedy turtle monk that I would have used it on. Interesting. Why is that? Well, I know that I'm doing something that some people will think is a little controversial, but there won't be a variant human as a playable species in this game, because the species and subspecies list that is available in play is going to be very large in terms of it depends on where you're from. So because this is a triple parallel plane situation, so there may not be a variant human, but there is a hell human, there is a material plane human, there is a fey human. So, and they each have different ability score modifiers, and some of them have different abilities. All the characters who come from the Feywild, doesn't matter what base species they have, they all have the Fey traits. They are deemed as Fey. And so because of that, they do get those Fey traits. So, yeah. I just felt that, for example, variant human in this situation didn't have a place because they were going to have so much choice that there's no need to be a variant human. So there's also a whole heap of custom species that I'm allowing. Everything from fairies to Dullahan, which are your headless horsemen. We have, you can be a gummy person. Yes, there are raccoon type people. Yes. There are the Hawkade, which are your Fey Corgi bipedal dog race. So they're not just corgis. You can, I have gone into the categories of, yeah, you can be a gummy bearkin. Interesting, Adam. Spirit Link. Yeah, the Aarakocra, I've added in a whole heap of subspecies for the Aarakocra, so you don't just have to be an eagle-based Aarakocra. We have peacocks, we have penguins, we have cassowaries. So, there is a lot of choice. Yep. Ooh. See, that's powerful, but I like the fact that it means that they have to spend 3 rounds charging it. That's interesting. Oof. However, I like the fact that there's a however, yes. Oof. See, that's really interesting. That's kind of cool. I like that. Can you imagine being within that mile and just getting a telepathic message that something is coming? Like, what would you do? Lend me your energy. Still, someone you didn't know within a mile radius, you just hear, lend me your energy. Yeah, around the entire planet? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry about the ads. I don't decide when they decide to play, so I apologize for that. They kind of just happen within a scope. Unfortunately, it is one of the things, unfortunately, that happens when you become an affiliate. So I do apologize. It's my nut. Give me a second, because I can read that and I like it. That's hilarious. I like that. Okay, looking at that. Okay, genuine question. Okay. Yes, what is your genuine question? I'm not 100% sure. Purely on the basis that I'm actually not usually a builder of custom spells. But those of you in my comments who are, please feel free to give your input. To get a red ball. I could definitely see advantages of it. The question is that I don't know is, see, it would depend on if I could certainly. I know that some of my players would potentially take it for the potential that it could do, but I also know that I have players as well who wouldn't take it on that same basis. But it does seem interesting, I agree. Yeah, exactly. I think there are so many possibilities you can do for starting base kind of stuff that I think that it's something that should be looked at. And I love the fact that a lot of third party stuff does take that into consideration when they create, you know, like I will be allowing a lot of the Heliana's, I believe it's Heliana's Guide to Monster Hunting. Yeah, I'll be allowing a lot of those classes and species. Just because I like what some of them can do. I'm also allowing some stuff from the Corpus Angelus, the Corpus Malicious as well. Of course. I mean, the one thing I did put into is lots of crafting. Because I did put in a lot of effort creating a herbalism and drugs document, which unfortunately did lead to the druid in my party not looking at you at all, Tide Runner, who created C4. And no bad happened. Yeah, it is my own fault. I know exactly what he's like. Well, considering the major story arc that's going to be happening in this game is there's going to be a lot of chaos. Just random chaos too. This could be interesting. I admit I am a little bit nervous about ruining Tide Runner's day in game. I feel like sometimes when I'm creating plans, I have to think WWTD. But yes, you are correct. I did create my own problems. I'm surprised he hasn't jumped in yet. Because he can't see. But, you know, it is a good time to save. The way it's going, I'm going to have to create a specific save emoji just for you, Tide Runner. The way it's going, I'm going to have to create a specific just save emoji just for you. A spinning floppy disk. I will consider it. I don't know, Zephyr, you tell me. I can almost feel the disgruntled huffing coming from the other room. Can you imagine if a Tensor's floating disk was referred to as a floppy disk? Considering that most people use it as an augmented mode of transportation. No problems. Completely forgot this area up here to add trees to. But yes. I'm so happy with how the floating islands turned out though. Like, look at this. Don't they look majestic? Yeah, I'm actually intrigued about that too. What do you guys have for breakfast where you are? See, I'm one of those bougie people that I don't usually like to have the same thing every day. And I'm very picky about my cereals. So I kind of like switch it up between like porridge or toast. Or eggs, like poached eggs, scrambled eggs. See, I can understand why you wouldn't do cereal. Because if you take too long to eat cereal, it goes soggy and it's gross. See, I like to switch it up, like French toast, pancakes, very bougie. Yeah, hate the soggy. Very bougie, like pancetta and poached eggs with like avocado toast and stuff because I'm, as I said, bougie. In a back before I had kids, I was actually a chef. So yes, I get a little bit bougie with my breakfast and things like this just because I like variety. Yeah, avocado on toast, sliced tomato, salt, pepper can be really, really good. And especially if it's on hot toast. Like, that's the key. See, if I'm gonna have cereal, it's gonna have to be something that holds its integrity. So in that case, like I do like a homemade granola or something like that, like the night before, so I can make sure that it's gonna be like really crispy. Because yeah, you want your cereal to have integrity. I mean, I was about to go, wait, what? And then, yeah, no, back when I used to go to school, kids would take Wheat Bix to school as like a replacement for a Rivita or a Crusket. Tide Runner. That is such a 90s kid thing. You would be surprised at how many parents sent their kids to school with a Wheat Bix as like a Salada or a Rivita substitute. Let me just save. And yeah, it can be delicious. I mean, I wasn't a massive fan because I generally find, because, you know, I went to a lot of like summer camps and things like this where, you know, you do challenges and stuff, like fun challenges, obviously, where you'd have to try and eat like 2 Weet Bix without like water. And the person who could do it first would like win the challenge because you'd work in teams kind of thing. And I'm just like, why? Why would you do that? I mean, it is a wheat biscuit, basically. You know, Weet Bix, Weetabix, depending on where you are in the world. Yeah, they're not bad. I meant the competition, yeah. I mean, we just do random stuff like that. Because it's an easy challenge that kids can potentially attempt, basically. And Australians tend to kind of have this slight attitude when it comes to things like this that, yeah, no, like even stuff like this, it's a joke. It's, you know, because let's be honest, if you have never done it, eating dry Weet Bix, yeah. Yeah, no, like, this is the thing. So we have this, I don't know if it's a common thing around the world. We have these crackers called saladas, and they're basically like a Ritz cracker or something like this. I think they do this in America with like peanut butter and stuff, like peanut butter crackers. And you can put, and so they're a savory cracker, and they've got little holes that they've poked in the top, kind of like a Cheez-It or something. And you put butter and Vegemite on them, and you put two pieces together and you squeeze it. So it creates like these little bits and pieces, like out the top, like these little savory threads basically that would come through the holes. We have lots of foods like that. Yeah, we have lots of foods like that where they made them very tactile. Like, you can also buy little packets of like I don't know, the only thing I can think of is kind of like, it's like a cream cheese kind of thing with biscuits. And yeah, you pick it up and you eat it with your fingers, and yeah. String cheese, yeah. I believe they're called stringers now. They do still exist. My kids love them. What are other things that we used to kind of eat a lot of? See, because we didn't really have things like Lunchables or stuff like that. They only really arrived in like the 2000s. We didn't really get like an equivalent for that. The most Australian schools now do just no peanuts. But some of the younger year levels can also be no eggs. I mean, we have this creation that my little brother did take to school for several years called fairy bread. So if you don't know what that is, you basically, it has to be done on white bread, let's be honest, which we use. They're basically sprinkles, hundreds and thousands, on buttered white bread. And that was delicious. I mean, it is lots of people from overseas question whether, you know, it looks like a kid's party food, which it is, but that doesn't stop adults from eating it too. Oh yeah, because everyone loves it, the nostalgia of it. Yep, I can understand. We have rampant competition here with the Kiwis. Yeah, basically, it's sibling rivalry. And we constantly fight over who is the coolest sibling, but if anyone picks on our siblings, that's not us. Look out. Yeah, basically. When placing with this mass brush, you rack up the numbers of items very quickly. And this is the time around the time when Tide Runner yells at me a lot to save. Which I will, because there's like 500 assets right now. Welcome back. I hope whatever you ate was delicious. Ooh, nachos, good choice. Excuse me. Okay, so we've done purgatory. The next to work on is lust, which is looking a bit barren at the moment. I think, however, before I start that, I might take a quick break and get some more water, go to the bathroom, all those things. So I will see you back in about 5 minutes. So I will see you then. Okay, we're back. Hello back, welcome back. Hello back, welcome back. Yes, I hope we're all rehydrated and the like. And yes, if that was your first time seeing the trailer, I hope you enjoyed. I hope it is significantly epic enough to give away the nature of the campaign. But the one thing I can say is every character in that trailer is a previous player character. So this is 6 years of world building coming together to create an epic story. So yeah. I mean, I'm sure in the 50,000 years between when Vendetta existed in the world and the new Saturday campaign, I'm fairly certain they will have managed to create a story for that somehow. I'm more worried about her brother than I am Vendetta as well. It depends. It really does depend on what you do in the world that is going to determine how cool the legend of your character is. You have gone back in the past. So we don't know what's going to come of that yet. We will see. We will see. Like I said, I'm intrigued to see what you come up with. Always am. I mean, you still can. There is no reason you can't. Honestly, what's stopping her? Yeah, and you literally have the exile. You know that you're going and dealing with time stuff and all that stuff, so why not go for it? Like I said, what's the worst that can happen? Yeah, I don't know what his plan is either, honestly. I know that he's hopeful. I know that Snitch is not. All other murder on hold. I'm sure you can manage it. Well, there is also the fact of your brother potentially creating a paradox by, starting his mercantile empire early. I like the fact that you had to preface that with probably. I mean, he has been speaking to me about what possibilities are available. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Like I said, what do I think the worst thing that's going to happen? Who knows? I mean, your brother's usually pretty level-headed, right? He doesn't have a history of doing anything controversial or out of the ordinary. You know, he's never made any deals with demons or you know, made friends with dangerous gunslingers. As far as you know, no. Well, that is true. Your character, as far as she knows, your brother is an angel. Figuratively and literally. Yeah, the mafia, that is a thing. There is a certain fire dancer who really wants to get to know your brother. Which, that's not at all concerning it either. Put these mountains in. Save. Yes. Well, that's kind of cool. Because these are indeed waterfalls. That makes sense. I can hardly believe that. Yeah, but is it like my frog accidentally murdering everybody, or is it like a deliberate attempt? Yeah, that sounds fair, I guess. So who was the other member of this party that apparently was threatening harm on another character? Fair enough. I can see how that would be perceived as a threat. Not gonna lie. It certainly sounds like chaos. I suppose that makes sense. That'd be cool as well. I am A-okay with whatever you want to create. Okay. Done that. See, a nose skin glutton wouldn't be that much. That wouldn't be a problem. That'd be cool. So at this stage, I'm not sure what I'm going to be playing on Thursdays yet. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to be playing on Thursdays yet. There are a couple of games that have grabbed my attention. I think Contrast looks cool, but I don't know if that's going to be possible just because the music is impossible to mute. I did think about Memoir Blue. I did think about Beacon Pines. What is your guys' thoughts? I'm getting there, trying to anyway. I'm also trying to do it one-handed. Because the kitten is... Yes, this is the problem with the kitten. The kitten wants to just be a part of it. Part of everything. Thank you, Spinner, for the hydration station. And for the record, I am using a mouse. The other hand was holding a kitten. But yes, everybody, it is a sign that you should have a big drink of water or whatever beverage you are consuming. Hydrate or dihydrate. I'll keep that in mind for future, and maybe I can turn it into an emote for you. So we need some trees, which my notes say that we had palm trees in this area. Oh, that's no good. Definitely, we don't want sunburns. Sunburns are bad. Don't do that. Yeah, no. Sunscreen is always a must. My husband, kitten. Thank you. That would explain why I'm talking to myself. Thank you for reminding me. I'm not sure. What I'm kind of thinking I want to do some candy kind of aspects, but what? Some more like candy-based stuff. But I hope you have a wonderful night, Tide Runner. Thank you for stopping by. It was wonderful to have you. And welcome, Lindsay. It helps if I'm not muted, so I can actually talk to you. Trying to figure out how to make this look more candy-like. Yes, have fun with the candy. Attempting to, anyway. This is Circle of Gluttony for anyone who doesn't know. Have a good night, Tide Runner. Thank you for stopping by. It is always a delight to have you here. Both you and Zephyr, by the way, because obviously I was muted when Zephyr left, so do wish them a wonderful evening for me. I don't think that's going to work. So let's have a look. Let's have a... We have Christmas stuff. No candy canes, though. Well, that makes me kind of sad, because the candy canes would have been perfect. See, I don't know if that works because it's just because they lay flat. It's not quite right either. Well, let's see what else we've got. Holiday special. Oh, we have lights. That's cute. Yes, nothing that's going to... Nothing that's going to stand out terribly. The ethereal flora is very good for this candy kind of aspect. Terrain. No, this isn't going to help me. Decorations? No, they're just... banners and the likes. Yeah, no, see, we don't want simple trees, so... Nice. You're saying night to Zephyr Spinner? Or are you heading off too? Trying to figure out exactly what I want to do with this. Whether I actually want to use these green... I don't know if that looks any good. Because I haven't done it anywhere else, so I think perhaps because it's not that big, because otherwise those plants are going to be huge. So I think maybe I should just leave it as is. Keep it consistent with the rest of the design that I've done so far. We'll come back to it. So these massive jeweled pillars. don't know if I like that. Yeah, I don't know if I like the treasure piles. Because we've already got it as like a background. No, it looks too... I think we'll keep it to this then. Keep it to these willows, I think. And there is a change in the slight coloration. Doing some of these darker trees as well. Okay. So we've just got the last little bit here. So we're doing Wrath now. Apparently there's some stalagmites and there's a coloration change. Wait. We do. There's mesa. It does turn out there are some lovely gold mesas and things like that in grade. Some nice big golden hills. That's a nice boulder. All right. Do some of these really high spiky mountains for Wrath. These stalagmite kind of creations. Do some saving. And then the majority of the trees here are dead trees, changing the coloration on these. So is that. And then down in trees, there are some very specific ones, which also get their own coloration. Just finishing up Wrath as we speak. Just adding these last few trees. Okay. I think that looks good. I think, yeah. Slothers piles of debris and things. Okay, so there we are. This one just has big piles of junk, basically. We'll just finish up these last kind of debris piles. We're pretty close. I may as well finish Envy, and then we've finished the southeast of Nethraeg. So I may as well finish up Envy because it's mostly a couple of casts, some swamp fronds, and a whole heap of green clouds. So we'll finish up that. I think I kind of like it that a little bit simpler. Swamp fronds. 15. Yeah. We've got galactic clouds. There's one here is what I want. Might have to bring them down in the opacity slightly to 8, just because it's a little dark and it's hiding everything behind it. We don't want that. As per usual, I do the writing on the wrong layer. might just even, just some of them, just lessen them even further. Just because it's a little intense. We don't, you know, we want it to be hazy, but we don't want it to be like indecipherable. There we go. Pride gets no vegetation anyway. So this will make Nethraeg southeast. So when we start on Monday, we are going to be finishing up on the southwest, and that will be the final part of Nethraeg. Thank you so much to everybody who has stuck around for the whole evening. Thank you to everybody who has followed, who has subscribed, who has just jumped into the chat just to say hi. It is wonderful having you here as per usual. And if you want to catch me live, just check out my schedule down below. It will tell you that I stream my maps on Monday mornings, Wednesday mornings, or Wednesday evenings fortnightly, but that is usually depicted on there, and on Saturday nights. So you can meet all of my map building then. If you want to see me play some Xbox games or anything like that, catch me on Tuesday and Thursday mornings at about 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. I will talk to you all a bit later. If you like what I do and you are not yet following, please don't hesitate to hit the follow. Or if you're feeling super generous, please hit the subscribe button, because everything helps out the channel. If you want to catch up on this later, catch it over on my YouTube channel of the same name, Boomeadow. And if you want to just get in contact with me, follow me on Twitter at BooberryMeadows. Otherwise, if you're interested in the game, check out the Roll20 application for Boomeadow. Do the follow and the sub to the YouTube as well. That'd be fantastic. Yes, you can catch it over on Roll20. You can find the application for the State of Anarchy game if this is a game that you think would suit you, because of course we are looking for players. Otherwise, I will see you on Monday morning for more map building. Otherwise, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening or night, wherever you are in the world, and I will see you later.